Hello and welcome to a different video to what you're used to. For those of you who saw my little vlog video on Sunday, you'll know that I'm going to start doing reviews and other stuff where it's pieces to camera so that you guys get an idea of what I'm all about when I'm not building models. And this video is going to be a review about Spider-Man Homecoming, which I saw on Thursday in the UK. And the reason I'm doing this review, because if you look on YouTube, there's so many Spider-Man reviews. There's a lot of reviews out there. It's the most popular thing to do on YouTube. I'm not jumping on a bandwagon here. I'm doing a review because I cannot find many reviews that feel the same as I do about this film. Lots of reviewers have been praising this film and saying it's the best Marvel movie ever, the best Spider-Man movie ever. And I utterly disagree. I completely disagree with all of the reviews, even really trusted ones I like Chris Stuckerman and Shartimus Prime and stuff like that. Sorry guys, I completely disagree. The only review that I found, and I haven't looked through them all, the only review that I found that was similar to mine were these two angry guys in America. I'll put a link down below. Yeah, they swear a lot in that video, so be careful. So I am going to do a more PG-friendly version of that video. And even though they are really angry and they do take it to the extremes that I don't feel, all the points in that video are ones that I agree with. So that's why I'm linking it, if you want a sweary version, than this. So let me just set the scene. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. My stepdaughter actually got me this t-shirt from Midtown Comics in New York. So it's a New York Spider-Man t-shirt, which is very, very cool. I've got all my Marvel Legend collection here. I've been an amazing Spider-Man fan for ages, ever since the 90s cartoon, really. And then I've caught up with all the comics and all the backstory and everything like that. And I loved Spider-Man in Civil War. I was very, very excited. We saw Civil War at midnight. And the Spider-Man parts were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I thought Tom Holland was fantastic in that. So I was excited about Spider-Man Homecoming. I wasn't hyped. My fiance said before we were in actually that I didn't seem excited about the movie as I usually am, as I was about Force Awakens and Rogue One and other movies that I've been looking forward to. And I wasn't, and I don't really know why. I think none of the trailers had really excited me. I was looking forward to the Vulture, which we'll get on to more later. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm kind of glad that I wasn't hyped, otherwise it would have been a massive fall for me. So there we were ready to see the film. I had my Spider-Man decapitated head drink ready to go. I've actually still got it here. It's actually a nice little collectible, this. So I'm kind of glad I did get it, even though I didn't like the movie so much. That's a lie. I did like the movie, but there's reasons I left feeling disappointed. So yeah, so the movie started and I loved the first scene after the Battle of New York with the Vulture, with Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes. I thought that was brilliant, a really nice way to tie in everything. And then, of course, the home video, I really liked that. But let's get on to it. Okay, I did not like many aspects of the movie. I thought Tom Holland was brilliant. I really did. He played a younger Peter Parker well. But the setting that he was in, I did not like. Genki, I'm going to call him Genki, even though his name is Ned Leeds in the film. He's Genki from the Ultimate Comics. And this really is the first point I want to talk about. The name swapping and the naming conventions and everything like that. It was definitely more of an Ultimate Spider-Man movie. It wasn't an original 616 Spider-Man movie. The thing that I really liked about the first ever Spider-Man movie, the '02 version, is that he's such a loner and he is actually physically bullied a bit too much in Spider-Man 2 with the hitting him over the head with the bags. But, you know, he was on his own. He really was on his own. And in this film, he's got his best mate, Ned Leeds, Genki. The reason I'm saying Genki is because Miles Morales' Spider-Man in the comics has a larger Asian friend called Genki, who he's clearly based off in the movie. But they changed his name to Ned Leeds for fan service, to make it more 616. I don't know. And that's the first thing that annoys me. Call him Genki. If you're going to bring a character to life from the comics, give him the same name. And we'll come on to that. I know you're already ahead of me, I know. We'll come on to the big name change later. So yeah, I wasn't fan with Peter having a mate. I really like the loner Peter. I think the loner Peter Parker for me is what got me into Spider-Man. The fact that he didn't have anyone. He had like people on his side momentarily and then not at all for most of the time. And that was really missing from this movie. Another thing that was missing, and it's something that I didn't want in the movie. I didn't want an origin story in the movie, but I wanted a little hint of one. There's no Uncle Ben. I have no idea what Uncle Ben looks like even in this movie. He's obviously going to be a younger Uncle Ben because Aunt May was younger, and Aunt May was wasted here as well. I like Marissa Tomei. You know, she's gorgeous, but again, the film was very self-aware, and it made comments of that often.
Hey May, how you doing? What are you wearing? Something skimpy, I hope. Forget that's inappropriate. All right, let's start over. You can edit it.
Which I really didn't like. And there's no interaction between Aunt May and Peter. I mean, there is that one scene in the cafe, but there's no heart to heart. I don't think from this movie Peter feels anything for Aunt May. There's no love there. I didn't feel any love there. I didn't feel any connection between the two at all. And that is a shame because we've already lost Uncle Ben. So his whole premise of why he is Spider-Man has changed or has not been mentioned. It has changed because we know in the scene where he's picking up all the rubble straight from the comics. I love that. But, and he's got that half Spider-Man face and it's Tony Stark's voice going, meh. Hated that. No, Tony Stark is not the new Uncle Ben. He is not a surrogate father figure. I hate that. And actually, I'm going to get to it now. Tony Stark in this movie. Why are these people saying that he's hardly in it? He is in it too much. A hell of a lot. There is a 5-minute scene near the end of this film where it's just happy. Pepper Potts comes back. Why does Pepper Potts come back in the Spider-Man movie? Why? Why bring her back for a Spider-Man movie? It makes it more of an Iron Man movie. I didn't get that. So Pepper Potts, Happy, and Tony Stark have a scene completely devoid of anything Spider-Man. More about Iron Man for like 5 whole minutes. And I hated that. Again, it's a bit hypocritical because I did want Spider-Man as part of the Marvel Universe to a point. Only because I wanted the crossover movies to happen. Standalone Spider-Man movies should be standalone Spider-Man movies. And I think Marvel is really hitting this problem with the films and also with the comics, actually. In the films, Civil War was meant to be a Captain America movie and it just wasn't. They should have named that differently. I know we've got Thor Ragnarok and the Hulk. They're kind of a two-piece as well. I probably will leave that film thinking it shouldn't be called a Thor movie. Maybe not because there is more Thor aspects. But I think there's too much interaction now. There's too much. And it's exactly the same for the comics at the moment. They are interacting too much in the comics. There's a big Marvel event every year. And there's no time for these characters to develop on their own. And I did think that was a problem in this movie. Robert Downey Jr. being great as Iron Man, you know, I do like him as Iron Man, but he kind of overshadowed Spider-Man quite a bit. And so I didn't like that. Another thing to do with Tony Stark is I really didn't like the suit. I really didn't like Karen. I know that it's that way in the comics now and they're kind of bringing that in. But it was too much. It was just too much. He doesn't need a tech suit. It's too much. It's too much. I really missed him designing his own suit. I know that he has his own suit at the end. But yeah, I don't know. What the problem with this is, it's almost like it's an amalgamation of every single thing Spider-Man related in the world. So you've got Genki and the Ultimate Universe. You then have the tech suit from the current run. And then you have like other names like Betty Brant. She was never at school at Peter. I might be wrong on that. And the thing that really got me is these kind of like little drops of characters. Like I know Matt Garden is the Scorpion, and I know that's taken from the Ultimate Universe as well. He wasn't created by J. Jonah Jameson in that universe. He was a drug lord, like he kind of is in the movie. And I know that they're hinted at the Prowler and at Miles Morales, of course. Again, this was more an Ultimate Spider-Man movie with 616 names. It's really frustrating. But the one that annoyed me most is that when you go back and see it, actually just watch the school stuff, because all the time, I seem to remember it being all the time, there is this white-haired girl, and I think she's always wearing a black top or black dress for the homecoming bit, who's clearly meant to be like an allusion to Black Cat. And like, I get it, it's a bit fan service, you know, fan servicey and stuff, but I didn't like that. Why didn't I like it? I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. Why didn't I like the fan service? Because it's not my universe. I think it's more of an Ultimate Universe thing. It's not a 616 Spider-Man film. It's an Ultimate. Is Aunt May younger in the Ultimate comics as well? I don't know. And the problem with that is that I never liked the Ultimate Universe run of things. And I believe that's common. That's a common feel, isn't it? The Ultimate Universe only became good Spider-Man wise when Miles Morales was Spider-Man after they killed off Peter Parker. So it's an interesting choice for me. Left me feeling very meh. The whole film just left me feeling meh. I kind of said everything kind of that I wanted to say, really. Actually, no, that's a lie, because I love the Tinkerer. There's not much else you could have done with the Tinkerer. I do like the fact that all of his shots were from the same camera. It felt like that they sat him down. He only had 1 day of shooting. They sat him down and he was like, right, put the glasses on, get some tinkering equipment. Right, set up the camera just at the same angle. Okay, now go. Just tinker. And line. Great, cut. Leave the camera where it is, keep it rolling, just bring in some other stuff because it's further on the film, just say you're further there. I think all his shots were done in 1 day with the same camera. That made me laugh. To be fair, I didn't mind the shocker. I really didn't mind the shockers in this film. I liked the way that it kind of linked in with the Shatari stuff. I liked the fact there's only one though. Get both for shocker. Just there's not much else you could do with the shocker in the movies, right? I know he's a bigger deal in the comics, but in the movies, really, what's Shocker's backstory? What can you possibly do that's not what they did? So I didn't mind that. And that leads me on to one of the best things about the film, and I'm going to bring him out here and completely destroy my display. The best thing of the film for me was this guy here, Michael Keaton's Vulture. I adored the Vulture. I think the equipment was great. Initially, I didn't like the fact it was shown off so early, but I think that makes sense too, because, you know, it establishes that he's been the Vulture for a while and Spider-Man's really stepping on his toes. So, I'm not going to do that. I loved Michael Keaton. He was brilliant. That scene in the car, and this kind of ties into Peter Parker being a loner. That scene in the car where you've got this adult man talking to this kid saying, I'm going to kill you. That's Peter Parker. I love that bit because there's a very similar scene in the first Spider-Man movie when Norman Osborn realizes that Peter Parker is Spider-Man as well. And the idea of this adult, sensible, okay, no, not sensible, this adult man, this established man, you know, he's in his 40s and this little tiny kid and he has a problem with him. That is Spider-Man for me. And you do lose that when he's got other people surrounding him, protecting him. But Kid Spider-Man on his own against adults, I loved that scene. I loved that. I hated his daughter, Liz Allen / Toombs / I don't know. She had no chemistry whatsoever. She's the worst Spider-Man love interest in any of the movies. Okay, Amazing Spider-Man were kind of the thing that's made them great was Gwen and Peter's relationship. Kirsten Dunst was great. I mean, she gets bad rep now, but it was that love story in the first film, especially, and in the second when she's going out with with John. But nothing, Liz, no chemistry whatsoever. There's no connection. The only time there could have been a connection was that scene where he saved her from the lift, and then instead of this connection, he just dropped off. And slapstick comedy, that I groaned at that. I was like, oh, just give it some depth. That's it. The one thing that both me and the fiance thought as we left the movie was that there was no depth in this movie. I know Marvel films have been famous for being funny, and I know that Spider-Man needs to be funny, but there was no depth. There was absolutely no depth. Apart from that one car scene and the reveal of Michael Keaton being Liz's dad. Do any of the promo stuff say that she's Liz Allen? I'll be curious. Or have we just made that up? They probably don't because they're probably careful with it. But yeah. No depth. No depth. There was no depth. It was just funny. And I know it's meant to be a kid's movie. But, you know, the first Spider-Man was a kid's movie and had that really visceral fight with Goblin at the end. A really visceral fight with Doc Ock. And some really poignant moments with Doc Ock. And there just wasn't any of that. The last fight scene was shockingly bad. It was dark. You couldn't see what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really like the fact that he was just saving a plane. The stakes were so low. He was just saving a plane full of crap. I know it's meant to be smaller, and I know it can't be saving the world because we've got to save that for the Avengers now. But just the stakes were low. There's no depth to the movie. I left feeling meh. I left feeling really meh. And then, of course, the big reveal, even though we already knew what was going to happen, Michelle being MJ. Again, naming conventions, just name the characters whatever the hell you want. Nearly swore there. Whatever the hell you want. I did not like that. And it's not so much the name, it's the character. The character of Ned Leeds is not the character of Genki, but they put Ned Leeds' name onto Genki. The character of Mary Jane is not what Michelle was in this movie, yet they call it Mary Jane. The character of Betty Brant is not that really annoying little whiny blonde girl. The character of Peter was, I guess that's Ultimate Spider-Man, so I guess that's fine. I just want to say I like the Prowler bit. I did like the Prowler bit. Because you have to. If it's going to be an Ultimate movie, which it is, it's an Ultimate Spider-Man movie, you're going to have the Prowler and you're going to have Miles Morales at some point. So that's how I view it. I view it as an Ultimate Spider-Man movie, which makes it not my Spider-Man. Sorry, it's not my universe. I'm a 616 fanboy, and it's the first time that being a 616 fanboy has really annoyed me because they haven't made a movie that I want to see. I want a good 616 movie. I want to feel the same way that I felt when I saw Spider-Man 1, 2002, in the cinema. I saw that film 8 times. I was 16 and I managed to find the money somehow and managed to find the people to go with. I think I pretty much helped that movie do as well as it did, at least in the Walsall area. So yeah, I felt meh. I don't want to see it again. I went without the stepkids and they were like, oh yeah, I'll definitely go on the Saturday. I'll definitely go when I come back from my concert and we'll definitely go. And now I'm like, oh, do I have to take them? Of course I will. But I'm upset. But you know what, this is like therapy for me. Talking it out has really helped. It made me realise that this is an Ultimate Spider-Man movie, even though you tried to tarnish it with 616 stuff. And I didn't really like the Ultimate comics, so I'm not going to like the Ultimate movie, am I? Really? That's what's happened here. That's revelation. But I also stand by the fact this isn't the greatest Marvel movie ever, and it's definitely not the greatest Spider-Man movie. The look of Spider-Man as well, the CGI was a bit shoddy in times. And because he's a smaller frame, some of the spider poses weren't as good as in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sorry to say that, not a popular opinion, but it's true, they were not as good. So I think I've said everything that I need to say. If I've left anything, I'm going to talk about it now. Nope, there's nothing else to say. Okay, cool. How awesome is that? So yeah, the best part of the movie for me, the part that really got my heart going, the part that made me go, yes, I'm really excited for this movie, is what I'm going to end this video on now. I hope you've enjoyed this little review. I kind of did it for me, apparently, as more of a therapy session. But I just wanted someone to have a voice out there saying that this isn't the greatest thing ever, because it's not. And I hope that people out there agree with me. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. If you don't, let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you guys next time. So until then, guys, take care. Bye-bye. And this is the part of the film that I enjoyed the most.